Molweni Bafundi, video 13, and still sticking with the garage scene, but this time we are going to look at key vocabulary and the forms of certain words. So let's start reading again. Molweni, igama lam nguzamile. My name is Zamile, ndiphangela Egaraji ye-Shell. So take note of how to say a Shell garage. Egaraji ye-Shell. And kudala ndiphangela apa. This might seem insignificant, but just take note of how to state that something has been done for a long time. And the key word here is kudala. We will be coming back to this word at a later stage. Umsebenzi wam awunzima. Okay, we have covered adjectives in great detail, and this is just another example. Xa umntu efika. Notice here now that we say xa umqhubi efika and not ufika. We've mentioned this before, that the use of xa requires that the u for he or she changes to e. That's the one thing I want you to note. Ndiyasondela, I come closer. Ndibuze, and I ask. There we have the e ending, which I've mentioned before, and in the context of and, when you express and using a verb. Ukuba ndinganceda njani, and I ask how I can be of assistance. The can expressed by the nga. Abaqhubi, drivers, bangacela, can request that. Okay, the use of ukuba meaning that, want that, ask that, require that. Ndigcwalise, ndizalise, ndigalele, nditshekishe, ndijonge, and so on. So they ask that I fill, that I add or put in a certain amount of petrol, that I check the oil and water. So the use of ukuba meaning that also has a consequence that the verb following ends on e. Xa ndigqibile ndiyabuza ukuba. Now ukuba here means if. Okay, so there are two ukubas, if you want to call it, in isiXhosa. The one meaning if, and the other one, which we illustrated before, meaning that. So I ask if ndingazi sulana. It doesn't have any, the if ukuba has no real effect on the verb. It's just a regular form. I ask if I can clean the windows. Ekugqibeleni, and eventually the driver pays. Ahambe, but this is important because again we are saying and he leaves, and instead of using the normal u for he or she, we use a. Ahambe. And of course together with that ah goes the e ending. Ngamanye amaxesha, sometimes he gives me. Pa is to give as in a gift, as opposed to nika, which is just to give or hand over something. But both pa and nika mean to give. This one being give a present, and this one means to give as in hand over. Imalana and ikuba are both terms for a tip, a small amount of money or tobacco. In the next little conversation, there was nothing untoward in the early part, just the slang uoraiti as opposed to upilile, but otherwise fairly straightforward. But here we have ndigcwalise itanki. Note the verb ending e, and that goes together with the request must or should I, or suggestion that should I do this for you, and there again we see the e ending. Ewe ungagcwalisa nge-unleaded yimalini. Okay, just yimalini and how to state the amount, but we know that. Tyhini ziduru Kodwa asinakunceda, we've had this phrase before, no alternative. But again, kufuneka, meaning must or have, implying that something must or should be done. And here again we have the E ending following kufuneka. And in this case we have to do certain things because we cannot travel ngaphandle kwayo. We cannot travel without it. And what is it? It is ipetroli. So the yo refers back to ipetroli. The next section is fairly straightforward, basically asking how the water and oil are, and the driver saying yes, ungajekesha. This is really just important vocab that you need to know. Amatayari, and how does one state a pint of oil? Now we don't talk about pints anymore, but that is just the term for a tin of oil. The common term used at the filling station. Ipainti, ye oil. Okay, Galela put in. Imalini iyonke, the total. How one states what the total is. Handing over the money, saying Nancy, here is. And when giving the person the change or a tip, ichinchi yeyako, it belongs to you, yeyako. And again here we have and bring, and the and is again communicated by means of the verb ending on e, and it is uze because it is you who must bring the slip. Toho is just a way of asking please. Kulungile, engosi. So the important things to focus on are the following. When we use ka, and the subject of the sentence is he or she, it is ka e and not ka u. Secondly, I can go back to a previous video where we spoke about ka be ngena, when they come in, and not ba, there's a mistake here, ba ngena. So the ba goes to be and the u goes to e. Secondly, the use of ukuba, meaning that. They ask that I fill the tank, that I check the oil. Here we have the e ending as a result of the use of the ukuba. Uyabatala ahambe, he pays and leaves. Okay, two things to note here. First of all, the e ending and the u for he or she, which has become a. Kufuneka sigalele, the use of kufuneka determines that the verb following should end on e as well, and we are expressing must or should here. In the next instance, a suggestion is made, namely, should something happen, should something be done, and this is expressed in ndi gcwalise, for example, should I fill the tank? And in the retail shop, the person said, let me show you certain shoes, by saying ma ndi kubonise, let me show you. So the use of the ma, meaning let, also has a consequence in that the verb ends on e. So we are basically just gathering examples, and there are more instances to come. But just take note of what we are saying and how we say it. Right, let's see if we can find some vocabulary to quickly go through. Okay, a garage filling station is Egaraji, and something has been happening for a long time. The person said, I have been working here for a long time. Kudala, arrive. Fika, I come a bit closer, I approach. Sondela, ask as in request. Cela, whereas ask as in question would of course be buza. Fill up, there are two forms of the verb that we use here. zalisa or gcwalisa. Full, if something is full, this was something we did not cover in our conversation, but if something is full, it is described as zele or gcwele. From you can see zalisa, zele, gcwalisa, gcwele. Pour in or add, galela, check, chekisha or jonga, pump, mbomba, wipe or clean, sula, a tank, itanki, petrol or fuel, petroli, ipetroli, diesel, dieseli, water, oil, oile, tire, itayari, and in its plural, amatayari, a pint, ipaindi, to go up or ascend, in other words the price of fuel has gone up. Nyuka, has gone up. Nyukile, a liter. Ilita, the total amount. Iyonke, the change. Ichinchi, it is yours, it belongs to you. Yeyako, the cash slip. Isilipo, how much does it cost? How much is it? Yimalini, and the slang for please derived from the Afrikaans toch. Doch. Good. The end of the little video then. Inkosi kakhulu bafundi, sobonana.